Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Alternative Smell in the AITA subreddit. The post is titled, "I don't want to tell my gay son about this part of my past. I am new to Reddit, so I do not know if I am doing this right. I am a 53-year-old father of 3 children, including a wonderful 16-year-old son. For the sake of anonymity, I will call him Ethan here. I will also try to keep this as short as possible. Basically, my son is 16 and he came out a few days ago. I reacted very badly. I cried and basically locked myself in my room for a day straight. But not because he is gay. I do not care about his homosexuality by itself. I love him so much. I have always been very supportive of gay people, even in the 1990s when it was not as accepted as it is now. I never cared about it. I even had a gay brother who was 2 years younger than me. My breakdown after my son came out happened because of what had happened to my brother. He was gay, my favorite person in the world, my best friend, my confidant. A bit scrawny, but he had a heart of gold. Genuinely the kindest person on earth. But some people decided his being gay was enough to hurt him. 3 guys attacked my baby brother because he looked at them weird. I was there. I tried to stop it, but I could not do anything except call the police, and only 1 guy got caught. Yet the police did nothing. That's what happens when the victim is a gay kid in Nebraska farmland, I guess. Anyway, they got away with it even though my brother lost teeth, had a twisted wrist, and 2 broken ribs. He stayed in the hospital for 3 days. The next day, when I went to check on him, he had overdosed and I still have not been able to finish reading his letter. He was 19. I never got over it. I still cry myself to sleep sometimes when I'm alone, even more than 30 years later. My son looks so much like him. I swear, sometimes I wonder if he is reincarnated or something. And everything that I just told you, I have never been able to tell anyone. Not my wife, not my children, not my gay son. They know my brother died and that I do not talk to my parents, but not what exactly happened to him, and that I disowned my parents because they were relieved they would not have to hide their gay son anymore. I do not know how to tell them. It is already hard enough to type this with very few details to strangers on the internet. I do not think I will be able to tell the ones I love, especially if they ask for details. I am broken, I know that, but I do not know what to do. I know my son deserves an explanation, but every time I see him, I want to cry. He must think I hate him, and that breaks me even more. But I just do not know how to say it without breaking down completely. What should I do? Update. If you do not remember me, I posted 2 days ago about my son's coming out and my terrible reaction because of my gay brother's death. Your comments helped me realize a lot of things. I have been deeply traumatized by my brother's death and need to see a therapist, but more importantly, I owed my family, especially my son, an explanation and an apology. So I decided to tell them. I am still really emotional right now, so I apologize if I do not make much sense. First, I told my wife. I wanted to have someone by my side when telling my son. I do not think I would have been able to otherwise. As it is still too hard to say out loud, I followed your advice and showed her this post. She cried a lot and told me I should have talked about it a long time ago. She said she was contemplating mentioning divorce to me if I did not change because she thought I was being so hateful, but now she felt terrible. I told her it was not her fault and that I should really apologize to Ethan. I did not want to show him this post because it did not feel like enough given all the harm I caused. So I decided to write a letter to him, my wife standing by my side all along. I told him I could not say it out loud because it hurt too much. I apologized for how I reacted and explained to him that he had not done anything wrong. Then I explained to him exactly what happened with my baby brother, giving some more details I do not feel comfortable writing again. I told him how much I loved him and that I was so sorry for not showing it recently because of my insecurities. I told him I am so proud of him for coming out and that I will love him and support him always, no matter what. After this, I gave my son the letter without a word. I actually tried saying something, but nothing came out. So Ethan grabbed the letter and went to his room to read it. I was honestly having a panic attack in my wife's arms when Ethan barged into our room crying and hugging me really tight. He said he was sorry for my brother and that he did not know. He said he was glad I still loved him because he genuinely started to think I really hated him. I think that is what broke me because I realized how I let my trauma make me a terrible father and let it stain my relationship with my boy. Well, my son is doing better now. Today, my son smiled at me for the first time since he came out. I am planning on taking him to the movies tonight, just the two of us. Also, as you all suggested, I booked a therapy appointment. I need it. I have not slept at all because whenever my mind goes blank, I either remember when I found my brother or when Ethan told me he thought I really hated him. I need to get this fixed so I can finally live my life instead of pretending everything is all right. I have kept this all bottled up for so long. I need to let it go now. Thank you so much, everyone. Camp Select said, "This made me cry. I am very proud of him for being brave and telling them. I hope he can grieve and heal. What a terrible loss." Vendetta Goddess said, "One of the hardest parts I have experienced about being a parent is when your child unintentionally reminds you of something you have not healed from, and you just sort of break. It is not their fault, they did not know, and it is not your fault either. You are trying, and it just sucks so much for everyone involved." This next post was made by a deleted user about 2 years ago. The post is titled, "My new manager is someone I slept with years ago. He doesn't know we have a child." The backstory: I went back to university in my late 20s to pursue my PhD and shared an office with a few other students for many years. One of the students, Jacob, completed his thesis and was moving back to his home country, so we all went out for congratulatory and farewell drinks. One thing led to another, and Jacob and I spent the night together. A few weeks later, I realized I was pregnant but had no way to contact Jacob. His university email and mobile number had been deactivated since he left both the university and the country. I did not need anything from him and was fine raising the child alone, but I thought he had a right to know. I googled him a few times over the years, but never found him. This past week, our department head emailed everyone to introduce and welcome our new manager Jacob with a photo and a blurb about his education and work history, so I know for sure it is him. The night we spent together changed my life because it made me a parent, so I have thought about Jacob from time to time when my daughter asks about her father or when I notice a genetic trait she did not get from me. However, I doubt Jacob has given that night a second thought. I have no idea whether he will have any concerns about being my manager given our history or whether I am making a bigger deal of this than I should. For what it is worth, in my years of sharing an office with Jacob, he seemed easygoing and practical. In our company, it is common for everyone in the department to reply all to these introduction emails, introduce themselves, welcome the newcomer aboard, and explain how their role will interact with theirs. I'm not sure if my email should note that Jacob and I studied together years ago as a way to get that out in the open, or whether I should email him individually and offer to have a discussion about keeping our history out of the workplace if he thinks it is needed. I would appreciate any suggestions for language that indicates I am not concerned and will be completely professional. Also, in direct contradiction to that, I would appreciate a script for a separate email saying, "Can we please meet outside of work because I need to tell you something important about our history," so I can tell him about his daughter. If you or any commenters think I should not tell him or should let him settle into his new country and new job first, I would definitely take that on board. Update. Thank you for answering my letter. You were right, it was a really big deal. I was viewing the Jacob as my manager problem from his perspective. Until I told him otherwise, it was just a simple one-night stand over a decade ago, and it did not seem like a huge problem. I hated and appreciated the reality check. I regret reading the comments, but thank you also for moderating them as quickly as you did. A lot happened in a short space of time. Thankfully, I already had a therapist. First, I spoke to my union representative who said, "Say nothing, but call us if HR tries to set up a meeting with you." Staying silent and having Jacob independently declare the prior relationship when he arrived would have been problematic because I would still end up in the same position and I would have lied by omission. Our HR team can be gossipy and they know the age of my half-Chinese daughter, so I needed to have as much control as possible over the disclosure. I spoke to an employment lawyer who reviewed our policies, and at his suggestion, I wrote an email to HR declaring a prior relationship with Jacob, and then I was immediately pushed out. Even if you have all the legal support in the world, you cannot prevent someone from doing something illegal. You just have recourse afterwards. In a meeting with my lawyer, the union representative, HR, and a member of the senior management team, I was asked to resign. When I said no, they insisted on a statutory declaration about the relationship with Jacob, stating what happened, when it happened, how many times it happened, and who initiated it. I also said no to that. We ended the meeting with each side agreeing to think about possible solutions. The company's solution was to start messing with my pay, my benefits, my swipe card access to my office, my computer login, and my email and calendar account. They spread rumors about me, and I heard coworkers whispering that I had had an affair with a manager. They sent me for a random drug test at a time when I was scheduled for an important meeting with clients. They canceled accommodation that had been booked for upcoming travel, which I only found out about because I was getting paranoid and called the hotel. I cannot describe how awful it feels to know that someone with this kind of power over your job is devoting their time and energy to thinking of ways to sabotage you. Every day I was going into work wondering what was waiting for me, and it was wearing me down fast. The advice from the union representative was to go back in time and follow their first piece of advice, or just keep documenting everything as we prepared to take legal action. The lawyer estimated that it would take at least a year to get any kind of resolution, and I did not even want the job anymore. By this point, I was not sleeping much and I had cried a few times at work. I was beginning to crack and we were only just getting started. So I resigned. I wish I had held up better under the pressure, but it was all just too much with the looming deadline of Jacob's start date at our office and whatever way HR was going to drag him into this. I am lucky that I can take my time looking for a new job, so I have had some space to process everything. Outside of the work situation, I spoke with a family lawyer who outlined all the possible ways this could go and what the most likely outcomes were. Basically, my daughter is old enough that what she wants would be heavily weighted by a court if it came to that. I have spoken to my daughter many times about her father. I told her what I knew about him and that I had tried to contact him. I have offered for her to see a therapist if she ever wanted to talk about it with someone who was not me, and she has always said thanks but no thanks. The family lawyer helped me write a letter which I left for Jacob. I told him about his daughter, said I was not trying to get anything from him, and gave him the contact details of my lawyer. After a few weeks, he emailed my lawyer. He was the easygoing and practical Jacob I remembered. He was still processing it, but said he was not going to take any legal steps. He offered us his family medical history, he apologized if I resigned because of him, and he said he would like to meet our daughter if she is interested. She also has some siblings. I told her all this. She said she is happy that she has her father's contact information, but she does not want to meet him right now. She feels that having him in our lives would cause unwanted disruption, and she does not even know about the work situation. Update 2. I am incredibly grateful for the support you and the AAM community gave me during a stressful time, so I thought I would share a final update. My daughter changed her mind and has been in contact with Jacob. It is still a bit awkward between them, but they share some hobbies which they have bonded over. My daughter also seems very excited to have siblings who adore their cool new big sister. I know some people were wondering why my old company reacted the way they did. For reasons I cannot go into, my work is scrutinized by outside authorities, and my manager's role is primarily quality control. Any suggestion that my manager had not checked my work impartially enough because of a personal relationship could have been career-ending for both of us. Additionally, the work I do is in a very specialized field, and only a handful of people in the country do it. Another company in a similar field initially approached Jacob, who has had an amazing career by the sounds of it, to start a new department. My old company paid a large amount of money to lure him over so he would not be in direct competition for clients and employees. All of this meant that I could not report to Jacob. There was no other manager I could report to, and the company could not risk him going back to their competitor. Between the two of us, Jacob was the better asset to keep and the worse threat to lose. I am not excusing the behavior of my old company, but there was a logic to it. I am still angry about the way they treated me and how helpless I felt, but that feeling is slowly fading over time. I had trouble finding a new job. Financially, we were okay, so I was being picky, for example, wanting to stay in my current city. After almost a year out of work, Jacob told me he had been approached by the first company, who still wanted him to start their new department. He was happy at my old company, but he offered to take the new role if I wanted to try getting my old job back. I would never ask him to do that, and I also never want to go near that company again, so I said no. Jacob turned the other company down but gave them my name. It is a step up from where I was, but they interviewed me and I got the job. I have been here about 6 months and enjoy it so far. Plus, I have never procreated with anyone in my chain of command. So it seems like a good place to work. I have hired one of my former co-workers plus 2 recent graduates from my alma mater who are bright, motivated, and quickly getting up to speed. Unlike my old company, we do not have a lengthy wait list for our services yet, so a few clients have started coming to us instead of them. I am delighted that I am becoming the very threat my old company was trying to avoid when they pushed me out. Vigilant Schmoopy said, I am thrilled about how cool Jacob ended up being, welcoming his new daughter, not pressuring OP for custody, and condemning his new workplace for how they treated her without even knowing the full depth of their actions. In the end, he helped her get the perfect job for her qualifications. Overall, it is a good conclusion for all. Overall Search said, I literally have no words for how perplexed I would be in this scenario. Very few Reddit stories have literally no solutions, and this is one of them. This final post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Felpros. The post is titled, I left my best friend's surprise party early because it felt more like a roast. Okay, so I am 24 years old and have this best friend, let's call her Jenna, who is also 24, and we have been close since high school. Like, held my hair while I threw up in the Denny's bathroom type of friends. I honestly love her, I really do. But she can be a lot. So anyway, she threw this little surprise party for me last weekend. My birthday was last Tuesday, but she insisted on celebrating on Friday. She told me to dress cute and made it sound like it was going to be this wholesome wine and charcuterie night with the girls. Sounds great, right? Well, I showed up in this cute white dress I literally bought for the occasion, hair curled, nails done, all that. I walked in and they yelled surprise, but not in a we love you way. It was a theme party. The theme, dress like the birthday girl and roaster. I kid you not. Everyone was wearing versions of my go-to outfits. Messy bun, iced coffee cups, fake nails, bad parking tickets taped to their bags. But then they started doing fake toasts that were just jabs like, here's to OP, who always has a 10-step skincare routine but still wakes up looking tired. To OP, who thinks astrology is a personality trait. To OP, who ghosted her gym membership but never forgets to DoorDash McFlurries at 2 a.m. Like, some of it was funny, I'll admit, but after 20 minutes, it just got mean. I kept smiling through it like good one, but deep down I was like, damn, this wasn't a roast with love. It was just people clowning on me for sport. So after pretending to go to the bathroom, I grabbed my keys, quietly told Jenna, I think I'm done for the night, and left. I didn't cause a scene, I didn't cry, I just left. I texted her later that I appreciated the effort, but it felt more like I was the butt of the joke, not the guest of honor. Now Jenna is mad and saying I embarrassed her and that it was just jokes and I'm being too sensitive. A few of the others messaged me saying they thought I overreacted and that it was all in fun. But like, isn't a birthday supposed to feel good? Not like a Comedy Central special. So tell me, am I the asshole for walking out of my own roast disguised as a birthday party? Also, for the record, I'm now officially team next year. I'm celebrating with pizza and my cat. Update. Wow, I did not expect this much love and support. I have been reading through your comments and I cannot even tell you how comforting it has been. I thought I was crazy or being too sensitive like Jenna said, but apparently I was just reacting like a normal human with, feelings. So thank you. Here is what happened since I posted. Jenna texted me not to apologize, but to send me a meme that said roasting is a love language with a laughing emoji. I left her on red because seriously, later that night, one of the girls from the party, we will call her Becca, direct messaged me and said she thought I knew about the roast. She said Jenna told everyone I was totally down for it and even helped plan it. I was like, what? The only thing I planned was the white dress I wore while being emotionally shanked by 6 girls in fake Uggs. Anyway, I gently explained to Becca that nope, I was blindsided. She immediately apologized and said she felt really bad. She even said if she had known, she never would have gone along with it. So that honestly made me feel a bit better. At least one of them has a soul. As for Jenna, radio silence since the meme. No apology, no hey I messed up, nothing. So I have decided I am not going to chase people to value me. My new plan, I took a personal day, got myself a mini spa package, ate overpriced macarons, and spent my night with my cat binge watching The Bear while wearing a gold face mask like I was healing from battle. I have realized that this whole thing was actually a weird gift. I got roasted, yes, but I also got clarity. I thought I had a solid group of friends. Turns out I had a front row seat to my own roast, hosted by people who think mean but make it Pinterest is a cute party idea. So yeah. Next year, it is just me, my cat, a pizza the size of a steering wheel, and 0 surprises. And you know what? That honestly sounds perfect. Thanks again for validating my gut feeling. You all really helped me feel seen. RG Law's writer said, the fact that Jenna felt the need to lie to the other girls and say that OP was in on it when she was not sealed the deal for me on who she is. The whole meme as an excuse for her terrible behavior was the cherry on top. Junip said, man, I wish more people understood that comedy is a skill that requires practice. A roast is not just everyone acts like a jerk off to the guest of honor. You need jokes. Not that that is the core issue here. You primarily need buy-in from the butt of said jokes. But the conflation of funny and mean with just mean really chafes my ass. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.